morning. It's time for our daily devotion. Today we are in Matthew chapter 13. It's an interesting chapter because here we have Jesus teaching in parables, giving several parables about what the kingdom of heaven is like. And his disciples are having a hard time, one, understanding the parables and also understanding why he teaches in parables. And Jesus has an explanation, and then he explains some of the parables that he's been using. And then at the end of the chapter, which is really where I want us to concentrate today for a few moments, he goes back to his hometown of Nazareth. And there he begins to teach, and he begins to preach, and he begins to do miracles. And the Bible says that the people in his hometown take offense at him. And they say, "Isn't this the carpenter's son? Isn't this the son of Mary? Don't we know his brothers and sisters? They live here among us. How is it that this man has this power, that he has the knowledge, the understanding that he has? How is it that he's able to do what he does?" And instead of being in awe of that and seeing that as proof that he is the Messiah, the Son of God, instead of that, they take offense at that, and they disbelieve him because of his earthly roots. Now, you can kind of tie this into the sermon series we've been doing the last few weeks in recognizing Jesus. Jesus is standing right there before them, teaching them and preaching and doing miracles and proving that he is exactly who he says he is, and they don't recognize him as the Messiah. They don't recognize him as the Son of God. They miss it because they get tripped up on the fact that he is from this town, that he grew up in this town, that he has relatives here that are just normal, ordinary people. And that trips them up to the point where they take offense at him. And it says in the last verse, which is, I think, is one of the saddest verses in the Bible, it says, "And he did not do many miracles there because of their unbelief." Now that's sad to me because I think it is also true that a miracle-working God who desires to show himself big in our lives every day does not do many miracles in our life because of our unbelief. Because we get tripped up on so many things, and we get sidetracked about so many issues, and we get preoccupied with religion and the politics of religion and the rules and regulations and denominations and so many things that we get sidetracked on that aren't really important. And because we get tripped up on all those other things, we fail to see Jesus for who he is, for who he wants to be in our life. And because of our disbelief and our inability to recognize him, he does not do very many miracles in our midst. He does not do all that he would love to do. He desires to do and wants to do in our midst. And so today, my prayer for you, and I hope that your prayer for your life and your family's life and your church's life, is that we recognize Jesus for who he is, that we are able to distinguish Jesus from all the trappings of religion, and that we are able to believe him and trust him and faith him so that he can do in the middle of all that's happening in our lives, all that he desires to do. Don't ever let it be said of you that he did not do many miracles there because of their unbelief, but instead faith God and trust God and believe God today so that he can do all that he desires to do. Now, go make it a great day, and I'll see you tomorrow.